Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Soulstorm casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 vs 1 on Titanfall Remastered. Over in the Space Marine corner, we've got BADlFuneral, whereas over on the opposite side, playing as the Orks, we do have BADlFuneral. Funeral going to go for double sluggers, a grot squad, and a boys hut, whereas the Space Marines are going to go for triple scat marines, a plasma generator, and a chapel barracks. Do quite like this map. There's loads of cool features that you don't really notice while playing the game. Mainly, these dudes. I don't know if you've ever seen the animated series, not the animated series, sorry, the animated film, what's it called? The Iron Giant. But that's what that little face there reminds me of.
Reporting for duty.
If you've ever seen that, that was a film, wasn't it? Way back in the day. Anyway, Orks vs Space Marines, nothing too crazy for either side. I think they're both fairly even factions between each other. A very classic matchup, as both these factions were available in the original game when it first came out, all those many moons ago.
Yes, my lord.
Lovely colour schemes from both players. A nice teal blue from Roshan, going to go for his Force Commander. Whereas as Funeral's got quite a nice little banner going on. It's very regal, very lovely to look at. I imagine what the Orks will be doing their usual shooter boys coming out, maybe a potential, there we go, a big mech will also be joining them to teleport around the map. Sluggers will just be capturing everything possible. Now for the Space Marines, it's going to be interesting to see whether he commits to like some upgrades for Space Marine squads, or he goes for some snipers for his scouts. Although mind you, if he was going to go snipers, he would have probably gone in that for an armory by now. But then again, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points in total on your side of the map. So maybe he's just building up his economy first before committing to any one particular path.
I command in the name.
Firstly, you can kind of predict what the Orks are going to do. They only really have the one major play, unless they go for maybe double shooters without the big mech. You don't really, I mean, very rare that you don't see the big mech coming out straight away. That teleport ability that he has is quite useful. Maybe not so much on a map like this. I mean, there's not many terrain features for him to teleport over. We'll engage with the Force Commander in close combat. Do believe that with the current level of firepower, the Force Commander would be able to take on that big mech. Not enough shooter boys to provide covering support. And so the big mech will fall back. Slugger boys doing alright for health. Not amazing, not too bad. One little Space Marine not feeling too well. Might want to send him to the apothecary at some point soon. Orks over here capturing the critical location, whereas the scouts are doing the exact same on the other side next to their slag deposit. Your boys going to move forward once again and be confronted by the Space Marine squad, and the Force Commander will be tied up in close combat almost, as the Force Commander narrowly misses his Force Sword. And just a lot of the Space Marine players got control of the centre of the map so far, so that's nice. Listing posts are being, well, this one over here is being upgraded. I imagine, yeah, we go, this one over here has also been upgraded too. So the most vulnerable parts of the Orks economy has been looked after. There's some engagements going on over here as the scouts, 4 men in a squad going up against a Slugger Boy squad. Does seem to be that they've taken out one dude, as he has left some lasagna on the floor. Has captured that critical location there. Scouts are now going to do the same for the middle location. And shooter boys are going to try and do what they can, but not all that much. Losing 3 models in that engagement. 4th one down here, if you can believe that.
Marine squad deployed.
Slugger boys now finished capturing that relic. Scouts over yonder as well. Anything crazy going on in the bases at the moment. 86 and 20 for the Space Marine player, compared to the 92 and 10 for the Ork player. No big upgrades on the listing posts for the Space Marine player, so potential for the Orks to do some counter-attacking. Some listing post bashing, so to speak. Nowhere near tier 2 are in the, there we go, are in the pile of gun zone. Are going to go for their Storm Boys. Storm Boys will certainly cause the Space Marines to have a second thought about taking part in a firefight, especially if he decides to go for large numbers of them. But what are you going for? No, no extra numbers. I imagine the heavy boy armor research will increase the health of all the orcs. A good amount of shooter boys now, actually. This unprotected listing post, and this is one major problem that Space Marines do have at this stage of the game. They don't have access to their rhinos, so responding to threats across the map does take them a fair while. And the Orks do look like they're going to go for a multi-frontal assault. Almost taking down the listing post, but will teleport away. Oh, so well, earlier on when I said that the Big Mech's teleport ability won't have that much impact, I assumed he couldn't jump that distance, but he can, so ignore what I said earlier on. This listing post has been upgraded, so the Storm Boys are going to fly away. It's time to turn around over to this listing post over here, and the combined firepower of Shooter Boys, as well as the chopper slicing of the Storm Boys, will certainly ruin this listing post. Slugger Boys not giving up on this critical location, taking down one scout, but yeah, Scout does manage to narrowly survive death unless these Storm Boys have anything to say about it. Listing post over here will be taken down. Do have target finders going for the armor from the armory, and the Space Marine player is in tier 2. Orc player is now also in tier 2 as well. Second squad of Space Marines going to go for a sergeant. On top of that, secondary shooter boy squad on the field, and a mech shop. So vehicle plays for both factions. I imagine there'll be war tracks. There we go, there's a Rhino. And the Rhino is also a really excellent counter against the Storm Boy, so I'd be surprised if I saw for Funeral to go for extra members in the Storm Boy squads. I assume it will be more for harassment and whatnot at this stage of the game. We'll start to go for this listing post once again. But now the Orcs without their war truck are now a bit vulnerable to the Space Marines once that Rhino comes out to play. Listing post over here has been destroyed. Storm Boys trying to take on the listing post, but they have been now cut off by these Space Marines. Will fly away, losing 2 models almost instantly, almost losing a third one there as well. Will be chased after by the Rhino in hot pursuit. But while that was going on, the Orcs have managed to take down another listing post as well. So picking apart the economy of the Space Marine player, currently that's 110 or 115 requisition for the Orcs compared to 68. So yeah, this is a very desperate position for the Space Marine player to be in. Having said that, he is investing in a land speeder and some power weapons. Land speeder will certainly take care of these shooter boys and whatnot, as long as he uses them in tandem with his Space Marines. I imagine if he sends them on the road kind of journey, do not know how well it will do against a mass of shooter boys. And a war track as well. Going to upgrade itself with a bomb chucker. One major thing about that bomb chucker is not only does it do damage to heavy infantry, it also knocks people on their backsides as well. And these missile launchers do have a little bit of setting up time, so once they're knocked over, it's still going to take about half a second to realign themselves. So that's just the double effect of a bomb chucker and its area effect. If that sentence made any sense whatsoever. Listing post being upgraded. Land speeders finding these slugger boys. Slugger boys are now being beefed up with more numbers.
Until take and hold victory.
You don't normally see slugger boys be increased in numbers. You normally see them being replaced with either just Storm Boys or waiting for the flash kits or knobs. But I imagine the economy is not amazing for the Orc player at the moment. So probably just going to use our slugger boys as chaff for defensive and offensive purposes. Warchuck being instantly taken out by a opening volley from the Space Marines. Also going to invest in some heavy bolters as well, so they can do some decent damage against infantry and vehicles alike. Tank zapping going down on... might have gone down, or might have bugged out. There was a zappy thing there, and I assumed it was something like that, but... Maybe they just had some anti-zapping thing going on. Anyway, scouts are pushing away the slugger boys.
4 minutes until taking hold.
Space Marines having a think about getting involved. We do have some heavy, or some big shooters on these shooter boys. They do a serious pack of damage to the heavy infantry armor of the Space Marines, and it's a bit of a. They're in 1 minute, they're out the next. They're trying to. How would one even describe that? It's just they don't want to be out for too long, otherwise they get tied out by the Storm boys. The same way that the Shoot boys don't want to be too out long, in case they get killed by land speeders. So they're kind of in out. Quite. I don't know why, but that tickled me very much, sir. Bionics level 2 going for Space Marines will drastically increase their health. Chaplain also on the way will be a great boon for a Space Marine player. Does a lot of health regen. I mean, just look at those bars already. Takes about maybe, if you left these Space Marines about for like 30 seconds, no matter how low health they are, they would come back to full health. This is a sizable amount of Orks there. Now we've got some tank busters, 2 squads of tank busters in fact. So those land speeders, with their low health, probably won't do all that much in the grand scheme of things at this stage of the game. Storm boys taking care of these scout marines, but the scouts do manage to decap that critical location, denying the Orks the chance to win a critical location victory. Thermoplasma generator been popped down here, but not sure if it's the game to expand in that manner. I mean, it costs a lot of blue money to build it, and I don't know if the Space Marine has the offensive capabilities to, well, defend this. More tank busters over here. Well, it's been a while since the Orc players built some more war banners. He's been sitting tightly on 55 population for a while, so certainly no chance of seeing any flash kits or knobs for some time. A low tier 2 build, I would say. And then land speeders moving around the side. Going to take care of a couple of Orc shooter boys. Tank busters managed to take down 1 land speeder. Shooters over here being reduced in number quite considerably. All morale being broken. Tank busters over here being taken care of quite considerably as the Grots also die in significant number, with the Skull Probe just kind of chilling out in the middle. Do have a War Truck as well, holding firm. But the missile launchers of the Space Marines, not as quickly as they killed the previous war track, but still did something. And the heavy bolter turret, not heavy bolter turrets, but the heavy bolter guns also seem to outrange the big shoots as well. Now look at that. Couple of tank busters over here taking care of this listing post. 133 and 66 compared to 98 and 40. Going to go for some power fists. A dreadnought.
Taking heavy fire.
Which, interesting choice. You don't normally see a walker
Victory countdown has begun.
against all these shooter boys and war trucks. Might see one if the Orcs went for some knobs. But I mean, these big shooters aren't really going to do anything against the dreadnought. You can kind of just move it and it will just follow these guys around, preventing them from getting a decent firing line going. We managed to take down the tier 2 listing post. The Space Marines really don't want to lose any more money. They have got a bit saved up. Gonna go for another Hellfire Dreadnought. Oh no, this is a regular old Dreadnought. Previous one was a Hellfire Dreadnought. But against all these tank busters, going off on his own, blading and spinning around, taking down the war truck. But he will automatically lose against these tank busters because he cannot see them. Space Marines being thrown out of the Rhino, making very quick work of these Storm boys. They do manage to retreat though, which is something. Hellfire Dreadnought, a supportive Dreadnought if anything. Combination of missiles and Gatling gun of some description. This is a good amount of Space Marines. 10 men apiece. All of the heavy bolters and missile launchers. They're going to absolutely melt through everything that the Orcs can put to bear. But then again, war trucks packed to the brim with tank busters, an undefended Space Marine base, will certainly wreck the plasma generators. Especially since they will go for one skull probe over yonder. Transport coming back over, dropping everyone and anyone off. To try and focus fire this war truck straight away to prevent the tank busters from retreating. Do manage to get it. We'll start clearing them up. Fire Dreadnought all seeing them round the side. While that's going on, the Slugger Boys and Shooter Boys are moving around this side of the map. Yeah, quite like you don't normally see masses of Slugger Boys, but there we go. Some viability for once. Well, these scouts are just going to harass these tank busters as to go away. Heavy bolts have been popped down here to prevent any further harassment from the flanks. Space Marines trying to shoo these war trucks away. Orks doing a really impressive job out just being constantly on the Space Marine player. Not giving him one scintilla of a chance to settle down. Another heavy bolt turret going to come down here as well. Anything major from the research buildings? Not at the moment, just scouts been murdered by the sheer amount of Orks in that war truck. Listing post going down quick as you like. Fully upgraded Space Marines by the looks of things. Do not want to mess with them when they've got everything and anything in their mix. Hellfire Dreadnought being zapped to pieces. We'll just stand there taking it on the chin there. These shooters don't do nary to any damage against a Hellfire Dreadnought. Can quite happily just sit around here, tank a load of damage, but shooters decide to just go for the listing post and move straight into the base. Got another Hellfire Dreadnought in the base with a heavy bolter turret armed with a missile launcher. This does not look all that pretty for the Orks. A frontal base assault is probably not where they want to be. War truck going down as well. And this is all while the Space Marine is engaging in bits and bobs over here, chasing after these grots by the looks of things. So not grots, these are tank busters. That's a good amount of Storm Boys. 3 Assault Marines versus 14 Storm Boys and all the Shooter Boys. They're brave, they're bold, they're brash, but are they going to be able to turn the tide of war? Possibly with a Hellfire Dreadnought at their back. Got a second Hellfire Dreadnought moving in as well. And to be honest, boys and girls, it's anyone's game at the moment. Finally transitioning into some knobs. Another Rhino on the way. All these Orks over here seem to be fleeing as the Assault Marines and Dreadnought advances. When these knobs come into contact though, I reckon that they'll be able to stabilise a little bit better. Especially if they go for any power claws, although I'd be very surprised if I saw any power claws. Very expensive upgrade at 40 blue money and 20 green money. And the individual knobs themselves don't have amazing health. Dear oh dear, this is a blue bukkake. They're just absolutely surrounded by all the beakies. Been shot from every which direction. That's not where you want your knobs to be. Double Hellfire Dreadnoughts really showing their worth in this game. Not amazing against infantry, not amazing against vehicles, but they're just in the middle. And sometimes being average is okay. Especially when you can just tank loads of damage. Although, a little bit of a misstep. Moving forward without the Marine support, only one Marine squad jumping out. And these guys have also kind of just like been sent around the backside. Big engagement going on. One Hellfire Dreadnought goes down, another one will also likely go down very, very soon by these tank busters. Space Marines on either side, focus firing on these Storm Boys, managing to break the morale. Rhino transport goes down, knocking the Space Marines and spreading them out, allowing the knobs to move in and cut down a good chunk of their number. The Assault Marines will try and move in after deciding to not go for this critical location. Going to tie up these Shooter Boys best they can, because that's what I think they're going to do. Knobs just absolutely slaying everything in their path, not letting these heavy bolter turrets, heavy bolter weapons fire into the soft armour of the Shooter Boys. Got some invisible tank busters around the side as well, firing into the assault marines and preventing them from tanking any of these dudes as the big mech jumps. Oh, I'm sorry, throws assault marines away. This is quite the scrum. Chaplin with his plasma gun and Crozius bashing these knobs away. Lots of low health models, but still 10 in their number, so the DPS is not affected too much. They will start falling back now, although they've got nowhere to really fall back to. I mean, they've got this listing post over here that's been upgraded, but it does seem like the Orks have got the advantage from that engagement. Are the Space Marines going to go for anything else? They don't really have the money for it.
Squad deployed.
So they've just got to hope that maybe they can hold the Orks back. Although the big mech does zap that Rhino transport. Warboss moving down as well to support the Orks. And I do believe this is a sad time for the Space Marine player. Not much you can really do in this situation with his current economic income. All he can do is just hope that he can get some good picks. If he focus fires one unit at a time, I mean, we'll get a squad wipe on these Storm Boys. Just a case of, can he also get these Knob squads down as well? They're all quite low health, so it is possible. Might be able to stem the tide if he just believes in himself. By the power of friendship and the Emperor, they might be able to do it. Gonna take down a Knob squad by the looks of things. Okay, there we go, that's 2 squads wiped out so far. Now they just need to focus down on maybe these shooter boys, as they are equipped with triple big shooters, which are chewing their way for the Space Marine armour. Hellfire Dreadnought gonna try and manoeuvre around the side, but they will be screened away by the sheer amount of tank busters going on. Gonna see another Hellfire Dreadnought on the way. Warboss charging straight in to combat, activating his war ability, inspiring all the other lads to increase their overall damage and whatnot. Another Hellfire Dreadnought has been popped. Space Marines have the potential to push this all back, as the Warboss gets involved. Do manage to kill the Warboss, in fact, with the Force Commander's Warhammer. The Fighter Bomber moves in, Flash Kits come in, and dear oh dear, Roshan throws in the surrender, as there's not much he can really do. Was a really competent defense star. I loved how he really picked his shots, killed one unit at a time, and it did genuinely look like he was about to turn it around somehow. But excellent game from both players. Really impressive play. Yeah, if you want to support the channel, please feel free to have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month does get you 1 extra game a week and all that jazz. Mine's been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure's always never short. And I will see you in a bit. Peace.